viewers, Ron back again. All right, we got a different camera of Ron's now.
Okay,
all right, I don't know what the video didn't play. Oliver, go ahead.
okay, have you got me? All good?
Yep, you're back.
Great.
Oliver, you can take it away.
Welcome to the Global Speakers Advantage podcast. Today is another beautiful episode, and we are having an incredible guest from Singapore, helping leaders and organizations to build winning service cultures. Chief Executive Officer of Uplifting Service, keynote speaker, New York Times best-selling author, and world's number one customer service guru. 2028, 2029, 2020, right up to 2024. This is Ron Kaufman. Welcome, Ron.
Greetings. It is a pleasure to be here with you, Oliver, and with all of your viewers around the world.
Beautiful. It is such a blessing for us to have you here in a live studio from the beautiful Minneapolis, United States. We connected way back in 2023, and it was such a pleasure meeting you. And immediately you taught me a lot of lessons. And I'm so excited together with my team to be having you as our guest this particular evening from the Talks and the Global Speakers Advantage podcast, Ron. So tell us, how do you feel this afternoon, sir?
I feel terrific, especially because over here in Singapore, it's not afternoon at all. It's first thing in the morning. Good morning, good world.
Wow. Good morning, Singapore. Pretty good. Awesome. And I guess you are still on Sunday, or you probably on Monday already?
We're on Monday.
Oh, nice. So, Ron, you've been a global advocate for uplifting services. What originally inspired your mission, and how has it been able to evolve over the years as a top guru when it comes to customer service experiences?
Well, thank you, Oliver. I think of myself really not so much as a guru as an educator, somebody who can take concepts and principles and ideas and bring them to other people in a way that they can be understood and applied in a way that's useful. So there's a phrase that I learned and adapted as I work on writing, and it goes like this: think like a philosopher, write like a truck driver, teach like a grandmother. And let me tell you where that came from. I'm a history and international political development major with a degree from Brown University. So when I was young, I had the great privilege of being admitted to one of the top universities. And then during my university studies, I spent 2 years in Europe and traveling all around, and that became a global career. So the whole curiosity about how did human cultures development, how are we similar, how are we different, what's going on in the world, led me to an intellectual curiosity about what does it really mean to be human. And then I studied with an extraordinary gentleman named Fernando Flores. I was a student for about 45 years. And I wasn't just his student, but he mentored me. And we went deeply into areas like, what is being human? How do we live in language? How do moods evolve, and can they be orchestrated or navigated? And really, what is trust? What is power? What is ethics? How do humans coordinate action? Now, all of that sounds quite conceptual and intellectual. It's like almost like a philosopher. But I was also deeply involved in the sport of ultimate frisbee. So I started the Brown University Ultimate Frisbee team, and I took those rules of play and the game and the tournaments and the festivals all over the world. And the first rule of the game is called the spirit of the game, which means not who wins and how do you throw and what's allowed, but how well do you bring that sense of play and joy to being shared with each other. And so I was always more keen on who's playing and how many people are playing, not so much who won. And then finally, I had a grandmother who taught kindergarten for 40 years. And as one of her little grandchildren, I got to watch her really taking good care of all these little kids and their parents. And I learned from her that service really at its core is love. And I learned from Frisbee that it's really important to teach people, but make it accessible so everybody can join in. And I learned from my studies that there really is a way of thinking about this that could uplift and improve the way we live together on the planet. So that whole, what inspired my mission? How has it evolved over the years? Think like a philosopher, but write and communicate like a truck driver, and in your heart, like a grandmother.
Wow. I love that.
Me too.
Yeah, that's interesting. So we're looking at you've been speaking you've spoken in 50 countries, over 50 countries, and still counting.
Lost count a long time ago. I speak on this one planet.
One planet.
Well, think about it. I mean, what's a country, right? A current era of our human history in terms of nation states and protectorates and alliances. But you're right. I've traveled a lot. There was a period before COVID for about 29 years when I was on 100 airplane flights a year.
Wow.
And COVID gave me that great invitation to sit down. And so here you and I are, Oliver, working with each other and reaching out to all of your viewers all over the world. I don't have to get on an airplane. That's nice sometimes.
There we go, right? So, Ron, what are the misconceptions in the customer service era or in the customer service industry that some of the companies they are actually holding on to that you love our
they're
audience
wrestling with it. Yeah. So when you talk about an organization, whether it's a company or a nonprofit or a faith-based organization or a community group like sports or music, or it's a business, and you've got people in leadership positions, one of the big misconceptions is that they come to me and they say, well, yes, I want to improve our customer service or make a better customer experience, but I want my people to have that customer-focused mindset. And I've even heard some people say, we want to inculcate the mindset into their DNA, as if you could put it in a shot and just stick it in their bodies. It doesn't work that way. Now, I understand the power of a service-focused mindset. Like I said, I was just blessed to grow up that way. But here's how you get it. You've got to give people a proven, effective, adaptable, easy to understand, easy to use tool set for analyzing the experience customers are currently having, listening to and understanding what is it the customer or the internal colleague that you're serving really values, and then applying these tools in a way that generate new action, new ideas, so that you can evaluate them and improve them and prioritize them and then execute with them. So that means you need a tool set. But you give somebody a new set of tools, it doesn't mean they really are skillful in how to use them right away. So you've got to give people the tool set and the support and the education and the training and the coaching and the encouragement so that over time they develop a skill set. And the remarkable thing is that when you give people the right tool set, which we built over many years and helped many companies implement, and you give them that kind of support so they develop their own skill set, they start to feel proud about the results that they create, about the experiences that they deliver, about the value that's generated by them applying these tools and developing these skills. And guess what comes? The mindset. So the way you get the mindset is not by, I want the mindset. Find the right tool set. Give your people the support they need to develop the skill set, and the mindset will evolve by itself. That's one of the most common misconceptions that leaders have when they want to build a customer-focused culture.
Oh, it's brilliant. So you talked so much about uplifting services. Is there a company that you worked with that have actually put this into practice?
Absolutely. And it was from a crisis situation. So there was a hospitality group based out of Mauritius that had 9 properties and 3,200 employees at corporate head office and in all of the different resorts and properties that they had in their portfolio. And when the global financial crisis came, remember back in 2007, 2008, the company was this close to bankruptcy. And the brand of the company wasn't exactly at the top of the industry. And they really knew they needed a transformation. But they also knew that because they were this close to bankruptcy, they couldn't get out of their situation just by spending money. It's not like they could renovate all the resorts and turn them all into 5 or 6 star beautiful properties. They couldn't do that. So how could they come out of the crisis, attract more tourists and tour operators and groups to come back, charge even a higher room rate perhaps than the average in the industry, and be able to recover not only financially but also reputationally. And I knew the person that this group brought in as the new CEO. And the CEO and I had worked together in some other properties and brands. And he said, Ron, you're the service guy. Could you help us? Because he knew that you could improve service performance and reputation and experience for guests just by improving the mindset of the people, give them the tool set, help them with the skill set, and they can become better service providers. Well, it worked. It worked. And so after a very short period of time, the travel agents started getting positive feedback. The social media channels started featuring great guest comments. The tour operators realized, that's the place to send. And so we even transitioned the brand name of the whole group. It was called something else, but now it's called Lux, the Lux Collective, Lux International. And this group created a mission, and it started out like this: each moment matters. What does that mean? It means, Oliver, that when you take your family on vacation, you've been saving up for that vacation, you've been looking forward to that vacation, and the vacation only has a certain amount of time. So they said, you know what? We realize each moment matters, and it matters to every guest, and it matters to the little ones and the parents, and it matters to the couple and the honeymooners and the retired guests and the different international guests. Each moment matters. But over time, that mission statement evolved, and they realized, it's not only that each moment matters, and they changed it to we make each moment matter. In other words, they took the responsibility and said, it's our job, and focused on making each moment matter in the internal service, as well as then for the external service to guests. And then, Oliver, it didn't stop there. They went further. And about a year before the pandemic crisis, they realized, it's not only that we make each moment matter, but we care about what matters. And out of that developed the CEO Circle of Care Awards, in which every year, all 9 of the group resorts, and now there's more because other companies, other developments, other properties want to be part of this Lux Collective brand set. They said, every year we have to find a brand new innovation, come up with another approach to take even better care of our guests, our team members, the communities in which we operate, and the natural ecology in which we live. So it's a really good example in answer to your question of, real life. Who got this right? And what can we learn from it? And what you can learn is internal service, improve that, and it makes it easier to improve external service. And your service evolution is just that. It has to continuously evolve.
Yeah, I see you practice that, and I've visited your website. I had some interactions with your team, and I just see that happening. Like anytime I come in contact with any of your service, there's something I pick out, and it's always so innovative. Now, Ron, with customers' expectations shifting all the time, what do you think organizations and companies and thought leaders can begin to do, to maintain consistency in customer service at the same time maintaining innovation?
That's a great question, Oliver. And we can even think about it in terms of how do you maintain consistency of service when technology is changing? How do you maintain consistency of service when you have some premium, high-end, high-paying customers, but then you've got a middle range of customers, and then you've got some economy level customers as well? If you say, well, we have to do consistency, and by that you mean everybody gets the same service, you're obviously going to have a problem financially as well as operationally. So the way to think about this is not so much consistency like everybody gets the same practices that we do, but consistency in terms of the caliber of experience that each of your customers has. Let me give you an example. Singapore Airlines, one of the top airlines in the whole world. I've had the privilege of developing 38 different programs for them over the years. teaching everybody from frontline check-in to cabin crew, even pilots, sales, overseas stations, internal departments, leadership levels.
Wow.
And, they've got economy passengers, high volume, let's face it, relatively low price. Oh, but then they also have their business class passengers, absolutely happy to pay more. They want a different kind of service. Then what they used to have was called first class. Now they've taken it even higher, what they call suites. Like little suites that you get up in the air. Now you can't give suites level service performance to people in economy and continue to be as profitable as Singapore Airlines is. So how do they do that? Well, what they do is they focus on creating an outstanding experience that understands the level of expectation of each of their different customers and customer groups. And then what they want to do is perform to that level of expectation. That would be expected, but they want to do it in a way where that customer group says, "Ooh, that's the way I like it," what I call desired. And then for that particular customer level and economic level, do something unexpected and provide that little extra, provide that, "Oh, I didn't know that was going to happen." And I call that the surprising level of service. So what you're looking for is to maintain a certain consistency of service. Serve people the way they like to be served, desired, and look for ways to surprise. Look for ways to add that little extra step of value based on the current expectations of each of your different customers and the way you currently deliver. And that's the consistency that you're looking for. Not consistency in operational performance, consistency in a high level of customer experience.
I get I have 2 kids, little kids, and so hopefully together with my family we'll love to have kind of a vacation in Singapore. Now, you have experience working with Singapore airline, and I'm excited to hear that. The last time I was in Singapore, it was truly a very beautiful environment to hang around with. Even though I missed my flight, but it was fun staying in the airport for quite some time and not getting bored.
Well, actually, you probably had. That's a great example, Oliver. You missed your flight.
Yep.
Now, nobody looks at that as a traveler and says, "Oh, what a great experience." But you were in Changi International Airport, one of the highest ranked airports in the world. And let's say you had an extra 5 hours you had to wait. I promise you weren't bored. There was so much to do. They made you feel so welcome. If you actually went up to somebody and explained you missed your flight, they're going to they're going to demonstrate real human interest and care and see if they can assist you. So there you are now on the other side of the world saying, "Oh, I love Singapore." Not because they delivered what you expected, get on the flight on time, but they did something extra in a situation where you were an unsettled customer.
Yeah. So what is the Singapore airline doing right now? In case you have to travel with a family, maybe kids, and you come at the airport and you miss your flight. I don't hope to miss my flight again. You're with a family, what are the service, maybe the surprising service right at the airport that can actually benefit, families, maybe younger families like us traveling?
Right. Fantastic question. And by the way, I don't suggest you intentionally miss your next flight just so that you can enjoy what I'm going to talk about. But what you're asking about is not so much Singapore Airlines and that situation, but now you're talking about Changi International Airport. And again, I had the pleasure, I've been in Singapore now for 34 years, of working with the airport people and working with the 39,000 people that come to work inside that airport every day. Now, some of them are government, immigration, police, customs. Some of them are airport authorities, right? Information counter, quality control, flight operations, etc. Some of them are retail. Think about all the stores and all the food and beverage, and there's even a little hotel inside, and there's a movie theater. I mean, there's lots and lots of different people. But Changi Airport has been built one culture of being personalized, one culture of being sensitive and caring, one culture of being surprising. So if you and your family missed your flight, and now you're delayed for 5 hours, you're not really just counting on the airline. You want everybody in the airport whether it's an area where there's kids entertainment, whether there's a special family room, let's say for breastfeeding or for changing diapers, whether there is a place for you might want to get on your computer and do some work. So where can you do that? That's a little more of a commerce environment. And then let's entertain you. So let's make sure you know about and you know how to get to the movie theater or the cactus garden or the butterfly garden or the different landscape installations in the airport. There's so much to do there, but notice that the people aren't just working for one company. They're working with each other as colleagues in one shared service environment where they all share the customer. That's called Oliver and his delayed family. So then the service that they need to develop internally between the person at the bank and the police officer, between the police officer and the person over there in the restaurant, between the restaurant and somebody who's in another area. They need to know about what each other does, and they need to practice the same tool set on how they can work in coordination with each other, develop that shared cultural skill set to give you and your family, the customer, an outstanding mindset experience from them and for you.
Wow, that sounds very interesting. We're looking forward to visiting Singapore again as a family.
Good. I'll ask the airline to delay your flight.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. Let's look at that. Cool. So, Ron, how do you align organizational internal values to external customer service and especially in large and global organizations and global terms?
Yeah, it's tremendously important to actually begin not by focusing on improving the external customer experience. That's another one of those misconceptions. When you get a leader who says, we need to improve our customer focus in this organization, let's start by training the frontline service providers, the ones who have direct external customer contact. That's a mistake because those people, they know customer experience is important. Why? They face the customer every day. They hear the compliments. They hear the complaints. So if you go to them and say, let's do a better job, but if they're not getting better internal service from the human resource department, from the finance department, from the IT department, from the security department, facilities department, administrative department, right? So what we say is, look, you've got to start by giving this proven tool set and developing an uplifting service skill set to the people who are your internal service providers so that the people who are facing the external customer realize, hey, we're getting better support around here than we ever did before. And now when the organization asks them to take another step up or the customers expect another step up, they feel supported, enabled, and empowered. So then you can build that culture of uplifting service, which aligns the internal values, high-level service performance internally amongst colleagues, across shifts, across locations, across departments, with a high level of external customer experience. It really has to be done together.
Okay. And so this is so interesting, Ron. I listened to a podcast the other day. It was so interesting. So the guest was talking about customer service and he mentioned something very interesting. One of the key customer service experiences that organizations have to do to their clients or customers. And of course, he mentioned a couple of companies like Mayo Clinic here in the United States, in Rochester. He mentioned companies like Amazon. And he said, remembering people's name. And he said, remembering people's name. And that was something that companies and institutions have to work on that. Not only that, he talks so much about when you call a company for a service or there is a problem with the service you purchase or a product, they will put you on an answering machine. And you have to go through series of answering machines before you finally meet the right person. Ron, you've been in this industry for quite a long time, for decades, and you've been working with Fortune 500 and different organizations around the world. What do you have to say about some key things that every company, thought leader, institutions, they're supposed to be doing, like simple things that any other person can do in order to uplift their customer service experiences?
Yeah, I'm going to go back in your question to that specific point when you said somebody has a problem and then they're put on the chat bot. Or they're put in the queue and say, your call is very important to us. Holding time now is 47 minutes. What are you talking about? Okay.
They're like,
So
what the heck?
let's take a look at the fact that we're in an era of tremendous technological improvement and transformation. And we all know that what we call right now artificial intelligence is changing the game for everybody and everywhere.
Yeah.
So what's that relationship between technology and the human side of service performance for other people? And the truth is that those AI tools are tools. They're going to help us do a better job. They're going to help us do things faster. They're going to help us do things less expensively. They're going to help us do things more personalized for different people. But even with all of that, there are certain situations where a human should be there to serve another human. And you pointed to one of the best examples when something goes wrong. At the moment that something goes wrong, what you don't want is a chatbot. What you don't want is, hello, I'm the avatar is here to help you. What you want is a human who knows exactly what it is that you've been wrestling with. How do they know that? Well, that's where the technology comes in. In other words, they should be able to see or understand, what are you trying to accomplish? Where have you been on the website? What kinds of things have you clicked on? What have you seen and not seen? What worked? What didn't work? How long did you spend on the page? Where did your eye go, indicating that you were obviously confused? So that at the moment the human being shows up because you say, that human being is not just going to say, tell me what's going on. They're going to come in and go, hi, Oliver, I understand exactly what the situation is. I can see what you're doing. Let me help you right now and show you how to make this work. And you're going to go, oh, great. Now, you don't want that to just show up on text. Maybe at some point in the future, that will be an AI-generated avatar. But still, you want an emotional experience of, oh, thank goodness, someone's here to help take care of me. Notice it was, someone is here to help take care of me. And then all the technology can be in support of that. Now, there are other situations where the human is incredibly important, but I wanted to use that situation as an example to make a more general principle. Harness AI. Grasp whatever the latest tools are. Don't be afraid of it. Learn it. Evolve along with it. But always remember that we are humans serving other humans.
Yeah.
And human beings are not only conceptual, intellectual, and financial. We're also emotional. We're spiritual, psychological. We want human connection.
There we go. So, yeah, I really love that. We want human connections. We are humans, and we expect humans to serve us. And even the robots should not take much of the service experiences. And so, you've spoken in over 50 countries, from the Asia, Americas, Europe. What service nuances have you observed on how services are being delivered and how they are being received by the clients or customers?
It's a great question, because people say, we want to have great service. We want to deliver consistent service, and we're a global company. We want to do consistent service all over the world. And I actually had a Swiss company once where in one part of the world, one of the account managers sent to her customers chocolate chip cookies. And the customer was so delighted that they wrote a letter all the way up to the CEO. And the CEO said, this is great. Tell account managers all over the world to buy chocolate chip cookies to give to all of their customers. And it fell completely flat. Because in some cultures, it's not chocolate chip cookies that they want. It might be something like, we do flowers in this culture to show appreciation and respect and gratitude. Or it might be, we want some other form of baked good. Or it could be, in some cultures, a bottle of wine. In some cultures, it could be dried nuts. In some cultures, it could be cookies, but they should be a different type of cookie. So you get the point, right?
Yeah.
Different people in different cultures have different backgrounds. We grow up in different cultures. We have different history. That means we have different language, traditions, expectations, bias, practices, prejudices. So if you want to serve somebody you want to understand, who is that person? What's the background of their own appreciation for things in life? I'll give you some examples. In Singapore, speed, efficiency, low cost, good quality, friendly, helpful, patient, service, not so much. Okay? That's Singapore. But on the other hand, you go to a place like the United Kingdom, much more reserved. They want polite. Being a little bit slower is acceptable so long as the service experience is one of dignity and appreciation. Oh, but then you have an American customer. Big, loud, bold, drama, excitement. Oh, good. Now get on a flight and go to Japan. And the cultural nuances, the expectations are much, much more oriented towards traditional rituals of respect and honor and mutual care. Or then you can go to a place like Mauritius or the Maldives or Bali or Oman, where there's so much native kindness in the culture that's the expectation, and that's what you're going to get. You may not get the same level of efficiency and speed, but neither do the customers necessarily have that expectation. So it's incredibly important if you have a global customer base, or if you are a global customer, to have that sense of curiosity and appreciation. We're all human, but we all came from different backgrounds.
Yeah. That reminded me of something you did to me in Singapore. You remember in 2023. By the way, in 2023, I was honored to receive an invitation by the Asian Professional Speakers Association Singapore, which you are actually one of the founding members. And congratulations for that service and for serving the National Speakers Association. So after the main sessions, we were in the table, and right there in the table, you were beside me. There was a lady from Australia. So we're exchanging business card. And I pulled my hand from my bag. I got my card, and I gave the card to the lady that was opposite me from Australia. And immediately you said, "Hey, Oliver, let me show you something." And you're like, here in Singapore, when you want to give a card to somebody, you have to position the business card, in the right way, right from your bag. As you pull it up, it should be in the right order. Hold it with two hands, and then you give to the person in such a way that when he picks the card or he takes the card, he should just read it without flipping it. Do you remember that, Ron?
Well, I remember 3 different components of that. First of all, yes, you're absolutely right. In this part of the world, when you extend to somebody that antique device called a business card, but which you people like you and I still love to carry and love to give away, it can have the QR code on it. It can have your photo on it, that kind of thing. But you give it with 2 hands, and you do it with the text facing the person you're giving it to. It's a way of extending a card with respect.
Okay.
Then the second thing is that you carry it in your pocket in a certain way, so that when you reach in your pocket to take out the business card, it's already set to go bloop. It's already positioned to be bloop. Not you take it out, you have to look at it, you turn it around. Now, that's a tiny little thing. But where are you supposed to learn that from somebody else? And for every one of you who's watching this show, I want you to take the lesson right now. Figure it out. Take a pack of your business cards, stick them in your side pocket, and then practice pulling it out and going bloop. And if it doesn't come out with the right side up, or it's facing the wrong way, figure out how to put it in your pocket. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3 is I went to see a client in Japan, and I was preparing myself to adapt my service to their culture. And I learned something, Oliver, I never knew before. In the Japanese culture, not only does it matter that you extend your business card the right way, but what you carry your business card in matters. Exactly. In other words, what they want, you take out your business card holder made out of whatever, you open it up, you pull out the business card to give it to someone. They're observing, what do you carry your business cards in? And they're not looking at it like an evaluation of you. They think of it as, are you performing? Do you live in a way that demonstrates respect for me? because the business card isn't for you. The business card is for them.
Mm.
So what do you carry it in? And it's just another great example of the cultural nuances and the
Yeah.
need for continuous learning and curiosity for all of us.
Mm. Mm. Wow. That's so interesting. And we are having our audience full of entrepreneurs, professional speakers, thought leaders from the United States, Singapore, Europe, Africa, and all around the world, Australia. And what can you actually give us a piece of advice on how they can begin to handle their customers and their clients in their everyday business?
And how can they stand out from all of their competitors, all of the other service providers in that area? Because we all know, whether as professional speakers, we're entrepreneurs, or as entrepreneurs in any other area, that if you don't differentiate in some manner, why should people come and be served by you? Now, your differentiation could be one of, I have the lowest cost, but it could also be one of, I have the widest variety. Or it could be, I have the fastest delivery. Or it could be, I provide the most education and training to help you get the most value out of whatever it is that you purchase from us. Or it could be, we provide the best long-term support and care for you as a customer. There are lots of different ways that somebody can differentiate. Clear? What's important is that you get clear on what are your fundamental principles, right? What is your purpose? What do you really care about? What do you want to demonstrate in the world so that it becomes your personal brand and it becomes what you're known for in your client relationships? So, for example, when I started in the world of service 34 years ago here in Singapore, I was invited to come to the country for 1 week. It's been a very long week. And I've had the privilege of contributing to the nation in many ways and serving many other organizations around the world. But I knew from the beginning, I wanted to stand for the idea of giving somebody great service. And I had to understand, I had to learn, what is service? And ended up writing a definition. Service is taking action to create value for someone. Well, that makes sense. You do something over the phone, face-to-face, online, an action that someone else will say, oh, that's what I wanted. Oh, I appreciate that. Ah, that was good for me. In other words, they got value. And Oliver, I did that for decades in different industries and different organizations all over the world. Now, at this point in my life, it continues to evolve because I've been really curious about, well, wait a minute, what makes something valuable to someone? And the answer is not just that it's their KPI or that they're looking at a bank account number or whatever that might be. What makes something valuable to someone is when they feel like it contributes to their well-being.
Okay.
So, service is taking action to create value for someone. What makes it valuable is it contributes to their well-being. Well, you know that my brand and my book is called Uplifting Service, which I call taking the next action to create more value for someone you care about. And what that's done, Oliver, in this final, stage of my life, which I hope goes on for a few more decades, is that I'm curious about what do we mean by care about? And so I've been thinking like a philosopher, writing like a truck driver. I'll be teaching like a grandmother. What does it mean to care? And what it means to care is to be concerned for someone's well-being. What does it mean to take care? To be concerned for and committed to someone's well-being. What does it mean to take good care? Be concerned for and committed to with your actions. Taking good care of someone's well-being now and into the future. So you're not just looking to do a transaction, make a profit, close the ticket. What you're looking to do is enable and support someone else to flourish, to grow, to evolve, which is exactly what you're doing by creating this podcast. You're putting in effort now to enable other people to be able to learn more, do more, become more in the way they share and serve other people.
Brilliant. Lovely. And so, for dear listeners, wherever you're watching from, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, uh, what has been your greatest nuggets? Right, just drop it down, drop it down. And by the way, in the Global Speakers Advantage podcast, if you have a service or product you want to advertise, we'll be ready to work with you, depending on what is that service or the product. If it aligns with our values here, we'd definitely love to advertise for you. So, and we have a question from you, Ron, from an engineer. When we were advertising and marketing this platform, the podcast, we had a question. Somebody from LinkedIn dropped a question for you, and I want to ask the question right now. Is that cool by
Sure.
you? Awesome.
I'm
Awesome.
delighted. Please.
Pretty good. So the question is right here. So he says, here's a question for, let me just go straight to the question. It's fascinating to see how Ron Kaufman's work on customer experience parallel engineering principles, particularly in system design board, required attention to user needs and interactive improvement. How do you think Now, here's the question. How do you think engineering teams can further integrate customer experience insight into their product development processes?
Outstanding question.
Yep.
So, one of the challenges that engineers will face is that a large part of engineering education will start with, what is the problem that we're here to solve? Why did we call the engineers? And they even have a phrase for it. They say, what's the problem statement? And without a problem statement, how do you know what you're working on? Okay. The problem with the problem statement is that the moment you define the problem, then all you need to do, I'm not saying it's easy, but all you need to do is solve the problem. So like an engineer or an engineering team, you're going in to solve the problem. But something was missing before you defined the problem statement. Why is it a problem? Who has this problem? What is it that they actually care about or concerned about that has the fact that it doesn't exist live for them like a problem? Okay, if we know all of that, then let's go solve the problem. But notice what I just said is, let's start out with human beings care about people. Human beings care about themselves. Human beings care about life. We are creatures who care. And because we care, which is concern for well-being, we also have this sense of wanting to take care. So now we're concerned and committed. But you know what? We notice at that stage, wait a minute, some things aren't the way I'd like them. That doesn't seem safe, and I'm going to go there with my children. That doesn't seem entertaining, and we're going on a vacation. That doesn't seem efficient. I'm not sure it will take too much time. That one doesn't, you get my point? So then, because people care, we have concerns. And when we have concerns, then the way the world is now can show up like, look at that problem. Good. Define the problem, get the engineers. But I want the engineers to think even more broadly, more deeply, more from what's going on behind the scenes. And you ask, like, okay, why is that a problem? What is it you really care about? What are you concerned about? What is it you really want to achieve here? Those are bigger questions than just what's the problem. And the reason that that's vital is that the engineers themselves are also human. And their imaginations and their ponderings and their creativity is something that you want engineers to be harnessing. You want them to be educated. That's the place to start. Not what's the problem, let's go solve it, but what is it that people care about? What is it that they're concerned about? That's why they have the problems. As we work on the problem, we may actually then come up with even better ideas outside solving the problem statement that takes better care, creates unique and differentiated value, allows the company to innovate and generate new products and new services, has them stand out in the market, thrive, and grow.
Wow, pretty good. That's pretty good. So, do you agree that remembering someone's name is a great quality of a customer service? And if that's yes, what advice, what recommendation can you give to our listeners right now around the world on how they can remember people's name when they are offering customer services experience to them?
That's a fabulous question. I think you
Yeah.
even said not only remember someone's name, but remember their last name.
Yeah.
And I am among the world's worst at actually being able to remember names. I just
Okay.
never really made it a discipline. I think part of it is just the speed of travel that I've been involved in. As you know, the enormous number of human beings I interact with. So
Mm,
I just want to say, like, a juxtaposition to the question, people love hearing that you know their name. And I
yeah.
love knowing their name so I can use their name, so I can address
Mm,
them by name, like calling you Oliver.
correct.
Here's your name, right?
Yep.
And so I need cues. I need to start out at the beginning and, hi, help me understand. How do I pronounce your name? Or great, nice to meet you. What's your name? Or even if I'm in one of those social situations where somebody goes, Ron, how good to see you. I mean, remember, there may be 1,000 people in the audience. They all know
Mm.
my name. And if I don't know their name, I start right out with, hi, it's great to meet you. Please remind me, what's your name?
Mm.
Now, once I hear it for the first time, I got to do something that's going to help me remember it so I can use it again in the conversation, so I can put it in my email, my database, so that I can associate this resonance, Oliver, with you.
Mm.
And for me, that means writing it down. And so the
Mm.
very first thing I do on any Zoom meeting or any Teams meeting, virtual, right? I've got my pad of paper. And the
Oh.
first thing I do, people often want to jump into the agenda and I go, hold on. Could we just very quickly go around the room? I just want to hear, how are you? What's your mood? What do you want to get out of this meeting? Blah, blah, blah. But also what I'm doing is I'm getting them to say their name
Mm.
and writing it down. And then it
Cool.
makes it easier for me to refer. There are
Yeah.
other people who are, great memory experts, and they do
Mhm.
mnemonics, and they do all kinds of, like, put the person on the chair holding the fish with a crown. I mean, there's all kinds of devices you can use to support memory. I'm kind of a fan of this one.
Mm. Gotcha. So cool. Ron, you are a top global speaker, and we cannot end this podcast without you saying something about the trend of the speaking business. Now, we have speakers every single day, every single week, month, year. New speakers are coming into the speaking industry from Singapore, from United Kingdom, from Germany, from the United States. Different speakers from different topics. Now, what is that word of hope you can give to the speakers? Now,
Yeah.
according to statistics from the Global Speakers Federation, from my last reading, it was stipulated that by 2025, we'll be having over 4.6 billion US dollars in circulation in the speaking industry, only United States. And there are a lot of speakers who are coming in as aspiring speakers. What can you share with them as your experience is concerned with customer service, uplifting services, on how they can serve their clients to position themselves for bigger opportunities now and in the future?
It's a wonderful question. It's a massive question. You've
Hmm.
woven a lot of questions into that one question. So let me answer it from a big perspective.
Okay.
You said earlier, and you're right, I'm one of the founders of Asia Professional Speakers Singapore.
Hmm.
Just this past few days, we had our 22nd annual convention.
Wow.
And hundreds of people from 18 different countries
Hmm.
came to this global cosmopolitan city of Singapore
Hmm.
to teach each other, to learn from each other, to network with one another, to collaborate with each other, to learn together. And so wherever you are in the world watching this, I welcome you. As a founder, I encourage you to put it on your calendar and join us next year. It'll be May 1st and 2nd, 2026 here in Singapore. Now, there's also a Global Speakers Federation in which there are other national speaker associations. There's even a virtual speakers association that have come together as a federation of speakers. So if you're not based in Singapore, or it's not convenient for you to travel, just go ahead and get online and find the speakers association closest to you. It's an industry grouping in which our fundamental theme is to encourage and help each other. We're not there just to position who's higher, who's getting paid more, who's busier. How can I help you? What can I learn from you? And our industry, Oliver, has always had people who are what we would call wannabes, people who want to be a professional speaker. Now, that's changed because in the past, a wannabe professional speaker often was somebody who goes, I want to change my career and become a speaker. Or I'm a young person and I love presenting in school. I want to become a speaker. Great. Join your association, start learning, move up. Learn how to differentiate, learn how to craft a keynote, learn how to do back-end support for your clients, learn how to market, learn how to sell, all of that. That's how the speaking industry works. But there's a whole other group of people since the pandemic who've been coming into our association and other associations worldwide. And those are people who are already competent, mid-career, high-performing people. And in the course of their work, as a finance person, as a technology person, as a product development person, as an engineer, they give presentations. They're asked to present. They go to association conferences and they deliver workshops. And you know what? Some of them really like it. Some of them are good at it. Some of them want to get better at it. Some of them are open to the idea of getting paid for doing it, and not just as part of their job, but actually going to conferences and going to other places and speaking and receiving revenue and income for providing that service. So these associations worldwide are designed to help you. If you're listening to this and you go, yeah, I'd like to do that, or I'd like to find out how that works, find your local or your national speakers association or sign up and come join us and see it.
Oh, cool. And this is kind of one of my last questions. So you have been speaking for over 34 years. You have been so relevant and you speak all around the world. What are some of the practices, that you practice every day, every week, every month, every year as a thought leader in the customer service experience industry to be so relevant all the time? Your name is mentioned, you're going places that our viewers and listeners right now, they can be able to inculcate some of them.
So an absolutely essential lesson for every speaker, every trainer, every consultant, every coach, every leader to learn is that it's really not about you. You may have butterflies. You may want to do well. You may be practicing your speech. You may standing in front of the mirror. You may be watching a video recording and see, how can I improve? And what do they think of me? And did they laugh? And, how's my hair? But when you get up there, it's never about you. It's always about how's your audience? How do they feel? Are they, what do they want? What are they concerned about? What's the energy level in the room? And then if your attention is absolutely focused on knowing them, caring about them, loving them, when you get up on stage, you're not going to have a lack of confidence because you're not paying attention to you. You're paying attention where your attention should be. You've got focused attention. You've got an intention to serve them. Keep your focus as a speaker with your audience, in your audience, embracing your audience, serving your audience. You will do so much better as a speaker. Now, for me, that passion to serve other people, I think you can tell it's authentic. And it's evolved, and I've stayed relevant because our world is always evolving.
Absolutely.
So if there's a time when people are wrestling with technology, I need to figure out how to turn that from a wrestle into a cuddle. If there's a time when people are afraid physically to go out because there's a global virus going around, I've got to be the one to help service providers think about, how can I stay connected with my customers? How can I make them feel like we know them, we care about them, we even want to develop a sense of intimacy in our relationship with you? If people are living in a world where there's less trust and misinformation and news headlines that are just designed to shock you, then how do you cultivate a higher level of trust and partnership? These are the kinds of questions that have guided my career and continue to guide my career. And that's why my focus is really evolving right now, not just from how do we create value, but how do we take good care of what really matters.
Thank you. This is so beautiful. And so people listening to us right now, they want to know what services.
Oliver.
Yep.
This is so beautiful. And you are so beautiful. And I don't mean that like physically. You know, you're not my type.
Yep.
But look at who you are. Look at what you've done with this podcast. Look at the amount of time and energy and attention and quality that you brought to this. Why? So that you can serve other people.
Absolutely.
Now, will that also benefit you? Well, of course, all of us have to find some way of serving in the world. But I just want to acknowledge you, Oliver, because you are a living example of what it is that we're talking about right here.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it. On behalf of the team. So, what are the services that you offer, and how can people reach you to contact? I really love what you're doing. Thank you for offering me a copy of your best-selling book, Uplifting Services. I read the book, and it's a game changer. And I use part of it to train some of my team members, even in Africa. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Book was the best gift I ever had for the past 3 years. So
I'm glad you read it. Good.
Yeah, I read it. It was really top notch. So how do people reach out to you, and what are the services you offer apart from the keynote speaker? I understand you do corporate trainings with airlines, with Fortune 500. Maybe you just want to share a little bit about that, so that if somebody watching right now might really just want to reach out to you, like he knows that this is the service I can get out there and pick out from you.
Yeah, super. So number one is my website is easy to find. My name is spelled Ron Kaufman. You can see it on the bottom of your screen. It's RONKAUFMAN.com.
Yeah.
Go there. You're going to find a lot. You can subscribe to our free newsletter. That's easy. But you can also go to YouTube and just type in Ron Kaufman, and you'll find the 800 videos that are there, millions of views, and you can just subscribe for free. You can also find me on LinkedIn. Now, I can't accept all the people who want to become first degree connections because I'm already over the limit. But also the way LinkedIn works is, the fans, the friends, the followers, I love you too. So follow me. And that way you'll be able to get everything that we put out, and we publish 5 times a week, Monday to Friday, new content every day. It's all complimentary. Now, in terms of services, the keynote presentations that I do, whether they're in person on stage with the microphone, or whether they're virtual like this, and I've done hundreds of those, that can be very, very powerful, and it can be even beneficial for an event organizer, because that way it's easy to record in high quality. You can support a hybrid environment where some of your workers are in different physical locations. They may even be on the move. They may be in groups. They may be working on their own. They may be at home, but everybody can get access to that. And there are ways to make that very interactive, like you and I have done on this call.
Yep.
Now, the larger services that my team and I provide, we've been doing for decades. And that has 2 fundamental promises. Number one, improve service performance, create a better customer experience, stand out, earn compliments, retain customers, increase customer loyalty, grow market share, grow shareholder value. I mean, all of that is improved service performance. And I spoke with you earlier about the proven tool set that we've developed. And the way we provide the guidance, and we train the trainer so that they have it inside their company and they develop the skill set, and then they've got the mindset and produce the results. So number one is improve service performance. The second component of our offer, especially for large organizations, is build a strong and sustainable uplifting service culture, where that whole approach of what is my next action to create more value for somebody I care about in the other department, in the next shift, at the desk sitting next to me, who's a brand new customer, who's an old loyal customer, who's an upset customer, who's a business partner, a distributor, a reseller, a supplier. You want a culture where everybody's coming to work every day, not saying, I'm just here to do my job. Of course they're there to do their job. And they know that their job involves taking certain actions. But they also know that in this organization, we're always looking to figure out and collaborate, to come up with, to innovate. What's the next action that will create more value for the other people that we care about? And that kind of engagement, Oliver, requires more than just training. There are leadership principles and behaviors that we help them understand and then actually implement. And there's what we call service culture building blocks. So those are things like, how do you communicate? How do you recognize and reward? When you capture voice of customer, where does it go in the organization? What do you do when things go wrong? There are 12 service culture building blocks in our uplifting service architecture. And we have a whole roadmap for implementation. It's usually a 24 to 36 month engagement. Depends on how large and diverse the organization is. And information and understanding about all of that, well, that's what's in the book. And I just want to say one other thing about the book, because you can find it on Amazon, you can find it on Audible, is that the book delivers two promises: how to improve service performance and how do you build that strong and sustainable culture of continuously uplifting service.
Great job. And you have to get that book is a game changer. And if you have to, visit Ron's website, you're gonna get a masterclass, like a full masterclass on customer service experience, which I got that a few weeks ago, and I was amazed with the content that was for free, and I was so amazed with that. Thank you so much for creating time to be part of our guest on the Global Speakers Advantage podcast, Ron. Thank you. Thank you.
It's a privilege, Oliver, and best wishes to you and to all of your viewers all over the world.
Thank you so much. And special thanks to our viewers that have been watching us from around the world. And if you're thinking of becoming part of the Texas Purpose Conference coming up in Dallas, Texas, you have to we can drop the link so you can get your ticket. It's going to be an unprecedented experience, and our speakers are getting ready. We are looking forward to meet you in Dallas, Texas, come June 21st. And hopefully by next year, we'd love to have Ron in the US to speak in the Purpose Conference.
I'm looking forward to the invitation, Oliver.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to you with that. We can't wait to have you here in the US to do a talk in the Purpose Conference in 2026, sir.
Super.
Awesome. So that was it for today. This podcast was delivered to you by the podcast crew in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I was Oliver Shom, your host. And today, our amazing guest was Ron Kaufman from Singapore, the Global Speaker Guru, Customer Service Experience #1 from the Global Speakers Guru. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and stay tuned. And we want to see you at the top until we meet again next Tuesday. Remain blessed, and bye-bye.